Let's talk about it. Episode 6. Sorry about last week too. We had some technical difficulties. We're not gonna point the finger at nobody or nothing, but we just had some technical difficulties. So, episode 6, back with the man, the myth, the legend.
What's up, people?
Arthur Lewis.
Everybody. How y'all doing?
As always, special shout out to my friends over at Inside the Park Podcast on Spotify, Matt and Murph. They are two really, really entertaining guys to listen to. And they talk everything baseball, so if you want to, give them a look, go ahead. Also, we're into January now. It's still not too late to start your New Year's resolution. You give yourself 3 weeks off. It is what it is.
It's never too late.
Yeah. So, if you're looking to shed a couple of pounds, go look at Signal 5 CrossFit in the greater Harrisburg area. They are my friends. They are my family. They're my gym. They're honestly the people that are, I'm going to hinge my success this football season on because, I think I'm more physically ready than I have been in any year prior. It's just getting everything else taken care of. But
yeah, I'm working on getting back down to playing weight myself.
Yeah.
Let's just start going to power training, Carlisle.
There you go.
Gonna get this shit done.
There you go. Also follow me on Instagram at Jake Stout, all one word, all lowercase, all Instagram. That's JAKESTOUDT on Instagram.
And follow me at ArtyBoy30, all lowercase.
Cool. Also, shout out to you guys, the YouTube viewership. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's just get into it.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. So before we actually jump into topics, I would like to take this time to more or less address last week's Chalk Talk episode. Mm-hmm. And I think I'd just like to start by saying that I would like to apologize to absolutely nobody. I don't care what people were freaking out on Facebook about. I just don't care. I'm sorry. We're men. I made a joke. You don't like it. Be triggered. Grow up. Is what it is.
I'm not really sure what you got triggered about, to be honest. But
yeah, I don't get it either.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Like I said, I just want to apologize to absolutely nobody because, we're all men here. Let's grow up a little bit. But, hey, now, actually, let's get started. What do we have? Okay, cool. So, in college football news, a lot of transfers still going on. You know how it's wild? There's the college football coaching carousel, then there's the quarterback carousel. Because now that Justin Fields went to Ohio State, Tate Martell's all right, cool. Yep. Miami's good.
Yeah, at least I get to go to the beach.
Yeah, right.
Every day.
Well, how does that make you feel as an Ohio State fan, knowing that he was once your commit?
I mean, I haven't followed the quarterback area too much, but it is what it is. If you want to go ahead and go somewhere where you're going to play without having to hope to God that your competition makes one mistake for you to get in, then yeah. I mean, do what you think will get you the most amount of money in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And through some back doors and channels and, people that I talk to in the college football realm, rumor has it that Tate Martell is actually applying for a hardship transfer, which would allow him to play right away.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Yeah. So, the thing is he's citing Urban Meyer's retirement.
I think what they were going for was there's just been so much coaching turnover at Ohio State lately.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to say.
That'd be too much for him to really excel.
Well, all right, but here's my thought process though, right? So if I'm Tate Martell and I have, of all the schools in the country to go to, why am I going to Miami? Not hating on the U, because trust me, the U is one of those schools that I like seeing them be competitive. But you have to see Clemson more than likely every other year in conference, and then if you win I was gonna say they're not in Clemson's.
They're not in the ACC.
No, Miami is in the ACC.
In the ACC.
Yeah. I forget. The ACC is in two divisions. I'm blanking on what they are right now. There's the Coastal, and I forget what the other one is.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so...
I forget what the other one's called.
Yeah, me too. Anyway. But yeah, you're gonna... If you're Tate Martell, there's potential where you're gonna have to go see Trevor Lawrence multiple times in your career, and I really don't think Miami has the wherewithal to... compete with
the Skate Boy Wonder.
Yeah. Jesus. I actually did get to see one of the people in the Clemson fan group that I'm on Facebook.
Mm.
They actually have a autographed Trevor Lawrence high school card. I think it's worth like $3,000 already, bro.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
Damn.
But
Get something that's worth like that.
right. All right. Well, we're gonna kind of transition this into pro ball. Rams advanced today.
Thank you.
Who's your night game pick?
I'm gonna have to go with the home team just because Brady's not very great in the playoffs on the road.
It's Brady though.
I know, but I mean, if the defense can get any sort of stop, I think Mahomes is just too electric.
Shh. Mahomes next great one.
It's too early. I think he has the potential to be the next great one, but it's still too early.
You know, and I mean, I hear people say, oh, I've heard so many of his NFL comparisons. I think he's the next Aaron Rodgers because he can move like Aaron Rodgers can, and he's got a hose.
I'm not gonna lie. He's got a hell of an arm, and somehow, every time he throws it across his body, it doesn't get picked off.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Like whenever he'll throw back to the left while he's already beyond the right hash, and it'll still get complete, and then go for an extra 20 yards.
For sure.
So, I mean, if you can do that and consistently get good results, you're going to go somewhere in this league.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the thing is that like that whole core of that team is young, and they're only going to get better with age. You know what I mean?
And Andy Reid's one hell of a coach.
That is true. That is true.
The Philly did him wrong. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's one hell of a coach.
Yeah, you Philly fans have to be Chiefs fans now because Andy Reid.
I'm a little bit. I hope he gets his first one.
Yeah. Y'all still kind of salty about Andy Reid. Okay, never mind. We're not gonna get into it. All right. So for me, conventional wisdom says pick Brady in the playoffs, and I'm actually going to listen to conventional wisdom, but my response is a little bit different. Did you watch the end of the Patriots game last week?
No, that shit was over by like second quarter.
Okay. Well, anyway, at the end of the game, I forget who it was. It was one of the female reporters on the sideline. I think it was like Michelle Tafoya or somebody else. But anyway, they're holding up the mic to Tom Brady, and they're like, how do you feel going into next week was basically the question. And his response was, it's okay. We know y'all think we suck. It's cool. We'll see. When Tom Brady says slick shit like that, it's like, oh my God, he's back.
Yeah, he's pissed.
Back. And then his Instagram this week was wild too. You know the song Many Men?
Mm-hmm.
He was listening to that while walking on the treadmill. Like, if that's not a motivated Tom Brady, I don't know what is. Like, my God.
That's funny.
Well, and here's another thing too, right? When you look at the Patriots, you can almost, like, I don't want to say the Patriots don't care during the regular season, but you can tell they don't take things as serious as other teams do.
I mean, when you won your division 10 straight years in a row, and you've been to the AFC Championship 8 straight years in a row,
for sure,
you feel like you just want to turn it on like you
Well, and here's my thing too. Do you think that kind of hurts other teams? Because think about it, like, and we'll take the Saints for example. The Saints got to play Carolina twice. Tampa Bay is kind of a gimme now.
Yeah.
And then, who else they got?
Atlanta,
yeah. So, like, you're playing good teams at least 4 times a year, and then, the rest of your schedule will fall as it may. But I almost think that some teams take the regular season a little bit too serious, and that's why they go into the playoffs, hurt or tired or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now, and I'm not making this excuse being a Steelers fan, but if we lose that game week 1, I know Steeler Nation would have had a goddamn meltdown. But it's week 1. You feel what I'm saying?
The Brown game?
Yeah, the Brown game that we tied.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying, though, right? It's almost like people, and I'm not saying that NFL players shouldn't take their job seriously, because they do take their job seriously.
And they get paid way too much money to not take it seriously.
Exactly. But my thing is that at the end of the day, like, if you lose, it's okay.
I mean, as long as you're not on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak, it's
going
to happen. Like in 2017 when the Eagles went to Seattle and lost. Just like, I mean, it's just one game.
Yeah.
And sometimes losing a close game like that, or just losing in general gets your mind right after, I don't know, getting complacent.
Yeah,
at
for
some point in the
sure.
season, so it's not always
I mean,
all
and
bad.
especially with like, and this is something to kind of look into next season a little bit. I think the Colts are going to be monsters next year.
Frank Reich is a hell of a coach.
Well, no, but here's what I'm saying. Like you just said, with losing, maybe getting your mind right a little bit. You know, the Colts rattled off what, damn near 8 or 9 in a row.
I think it was 9 in a row.
So like, if you're going on all that streak, not saying the Colts got complacent, but like if you go on a streak like that, and then you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like we're feeling good, and then you get punched in the mouth,
like they did against the Chiefs.
Yeah, like then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think the Colts are going to come out really hot next season. I think like I think it'll be one of those things where like them in the first 6 weeks is going to be no good for whoever they're playing. But, you know, just my opinion. And it's one of those things too that you have to look at, you know, in the grand scheme of things. You know, the Colts were one of those teams that nobody looked at. Now they are, you know, people are paying attention now.
I mean, the season has so many different storylines that it's just crazy to try and keep track of them all.
Oh, for sure.
But you can definitely go from worst a quarter of the way into the season to first by the end of it.
For sure. So, what else do we have? Took care of college football. Okay, on to let's get boxing out of the way first.
Okay.
Pac-Man. Paulie Malignaggi gave the best breakdown analysis of Adrian Broner that I've heard in a while, and it's up on YouTube if you can't find it. But he was basically saying that Adrian Broner will always he'll always kind of fight his way into distance, and then once he gets to a distance where he's comfortable, he lets his hands go. But when you look at him when he gets beat, the guy either keeps him at distance or is just a better counterpuncher.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao not only kept Adrian Broner at distance, he was a better counterpuncher.
Got them both.
Yeah. I mean, they said in the interview that I watched that one of the reporters had the figures. He said he threw like over 400 punches, landed somewhere in the vicinity of 60 or 70. Like, so inefficient. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was what I was. Either I misheard the reporter or I misheard the question as a whole.
20%.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things, and you notice that a lot with boxers. You know, not necessarily like heavyweights, because those guys have like 90-inch arms and can just do whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean? But when you're a lightweight guy and you have, you know, you have to have fast hands, you have to have good feet, you have to understand distance. And from what I saw in that fight and from what, you know, the judges' scorecards reflected, Adrian Broner didn't do it. I mean, are you an Adrian Broner fan at all? Like, I don't know how much boxing you actually follow.
I don't really follow that much boxing, but I think it was even clowns.
Yeah.
And then, I forget who it was, but below the guy, his forehead split open. I hope you're okay, because that looked bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. The guy's name is Badu Jack.
Yeah, I didn't even see the punch. All I know is I saw that.
Oh yeah, his head literally split, like so.
Like, wide open.
Yeah. Kind of looked like he had the Harry Potter lightning bolt, and then it just split open, and you could see all the way in practically into his brain there.
Someone if I could dapper that ass.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I mean Pac-Man with the unanimous decision win. I think it's one of those things that, you know, I would love to see Manny fight Floyd again, but you know we're gonna get the same thing that we got the first time.
If I will not pay to get that fight. I didn't pay last time, and I'm like, yo, someone wasted their money because that fight was way too just timid. So I'm just like, I'll go watch it like at a sports bar maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
But if the first 2 rounds are anything like they were a couple years ago, I'm bouncing. I'm done with that.
Yeah. I mean, according to this CBS Sports scorecard taken at the fight, they gave Broner 2 rounds. They gave him the 4th and the 10th. Everything else was 10-9 Pacquiao. So, I mean, can't really argue with that. I mean, I know in the interview he said he was What did he say? He was 100% certain he won that fight.
Yes,
but
yeah. I mean, you lost. What it was? You lost 10 out of 12 rounds.
118, 110.
Yep. Yeah, if you're losing.
Well, Pacquiao outlanded him on the numbers, if I remember correctly, it was like 112 to 50 for clean shots for the whole fight.
Yeah, you're not winning if you got.
Well, so you're figuring. All right, so quick math: 12-round fight, you land 50 shots. That's like what, 6, 7 shots around, or 4 shots around, something like that. Like, my God. I mean, but Manny Pacquiao's always had a high work rate. You know, Broner's not necessarily known for a super high work rate. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I think it's one of those things that, you know, outside of heavyweight boxing right now, there really isn't a whole lot brewing, and even heavyweight boxing is a little on the lackluster side because, you know, the Wilder Fury fight was fantastic. But
I saw some of that. That was a really great fight. That I will pay to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Once they do it again, because I'm pretty sure they're trying to get that up.
Well, so what's going on now is it's a 3-horse race at the top for the heavyweights. So you have Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and the Brit Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
So now Anthony Joshua has been ducking both Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder forever. Why? I have no idea. Because, like, when you look at Anthony Joshua is probably, like, I think he weighed in at 242 for the Klitschko fight. And is 6'7", 6'8". And just
lean as hell.
Built. Yeah, and is just built like a brick shit house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he has great trainers. He's a great boxer. You know, I watched him take Dylan White apart, which Dylan White at the time was thought to be one of the best European heavyweights, you know, standing. But Dylan White was more the shorter, stockier heavyweight.
Okay.
And Anthony Joshua straight splattered Dylan White. And then, of course, he went on to beat Klitschko. So, the 3-horse race is basically, like I said, it's Wilder, Joshua, Fury. Fury and Joshua want to fight more specifically because it's for who's the best Brit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But also, Wilder holds the, IBF heavyweight title? He holds one of the big 4.
Uh-huh.
And then Joshua holds the other 3. But what keeps Fury in the mix is that Fury is what they call the lineal champion. He was the last man to beat the reigning heavyweight champion, which was Klitschko.
Okay.
So, take that for what you will. I think that Fury, being the technician that he is, should have beaten Wilder, even with the knockdowns. I think it should have been a 1-point win. Would have gave it a unanimous decision, set the rematch up. Joshua is like, he's a technician like Fury, but with knockout power. You know, and that's nothing against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury has power in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If Tyson Fury hits me, I'm going down. But, you know, Tyson Fury is not Deontay Wilder, where he has dynamite in the right hand. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
So, like, you're literally looking at the pure power puncher, the good all-around boxer, and then the more hand-speed technician guy. You know, so you're almost covering, like, all three major archetypes that you get in boxing. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you look at Tyson was, as much as people say, oh, Tyson was just a pure power puncher, he wasn't. Mm-hmm. Because when you watch some of his old fight films, the guy would move his feet. He understood distance. He understood that he could throw a jab. He understood this and that. You know what I mean? Tyson understood boxing. You know what I mean? And then you get, you know, guys like David Tua, not an overly known household name, but he was just a pure power puncher. Okay. You know, short Samoan dude, built like Mark Hunt in the UFC, and would just knock people out. You know what I mean? Where Tyson was more the balanced guy. And then, you know, you get guys like Lennox Lewis, who are balanced. You get guys like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, Buster Douglas was more of a balanced guy. Riddick Bowe, more of a power/balance guy. You know what I mean? But like, there's, I mean, Ray Mercer. Like, the names go on, but for the most part, boxers have always been balanced. Only as of recently have, like, the pure power punchers came out, like Deontay Wilder. And it's just because, like, when you look at Deontay Wilder, the dude's 6'9", with a freak wingspan and can just unload on you from the weirdest, standing position. Like when you look at his feet, the dude looks like his knees are almost locked completely out in opposite directions. It's almost like he's intentionally bringing his body height down. His feet are so far spread apart. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's an unorthodox fighter, but he's fun to watch because he knocks people out. So, is what it is.
It's all one spectacle.
Yeah, right. But I don't know who's gonna fight who next. Because you gotta remember, with only three horses in the race, somebody has to be sitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would almost want to see Deontay Wilder fight Joshua for all the titles first, and then give Tyson Fury a shot to come in and take everything. Because I think it would just be nuts to watch. Okay, cool. Say Deontay Wilder knocks out Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now Deontay Wilder has everything, and then Tyson Fury's like, I beat you in that fight, right? Yo, boom. And then he just go. And I would love to see that rematch anyway. I mean, I know they're going to rematch eventually. They pretty much have to at this point.
That was too much of a fight.
Yeah, for sure. But
that was a moneymaker right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, on the topic of fighting, UFC last night. This was their first ESPN Plus. It was the first ESPN Plus card. Now that I think about it, because they got the new deal. So while I'm thinking about it, Henry Cejudo beat T.J. Dillashaw. Gotta admit that was a bit of a surprise to me. I'm a huge T.J. Dillashaw fan. The dude's a monster. May actually go down as one of the greatest lightweight fighters ever. But now Cejudo's kind of in the mix for a change, you know what I mean? Because now, there's so many things you could do with Henry Cejudo after that fight. For me, I would almost say, he could go take on Cody Garbrandt in the 135 class, or he could go up to 145 and fight Max Holloway. But then again, Max Holloway's trying to fight in 155. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's just trying to fight everybody at this point. I love it because I'm a fan. But it's almost like it's one of those things, you got to take care of business at home first before you jump into, somebody else's backyard. But
try and take that shit.
Yeah. The co-main event, which I didn't actually see this card too far ahead of time, so it actually still does kind of surprise me. Greg Hardy, former defensive end for the Cowboys and Panthers.
I knew Greg Hardy sounded familiar. I couldn't place it. Now, okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
He was disqualified in the second round versus Alan Crowder. What else?
Does it say why?
Does it say why? Let me look here. No, not off the top.
I'm gonna have to.
So yeah, Google it. Gregor Gillespie beat Yancy Medeiros. Again, don't really know either of those names. I heard it was a good fight. It was a knockout in the second round. So, there's a lot of good lightweights coming up. Hopefully, I'll see more of these two. Gregor Gillespie advances to 13-0. Flyweights, Joseph Benavidez, Justin Ortiz. I'm a big Joseph Benavidez fan. And Benavidez came out on top, so props there.
It says he got DQ'd for an illegal knee.
Oh, no kidding. Greg Hardy doing something illegal. I'm pretty sure that's what got him kicked out of the NFL.
That's why I'm like, okay, it's got to be something like that.
Yeah. Then again, like they said he had anger issues and stuff, so it makes sense that he would go to a sport where you get to beat people up for a living.
So I've always entertained the thought of trying out combat sports just because I feel it could be a nice learning experience.
It is like combat sports, even if you're not going to actually fight anybody.
Yeah.
Just kind of putting yourself in that fight or flight response mode.
And learning how to deal with it better. Exactly,
and learning how to cope. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah. It's just all those combat things are so expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're not going to get in. Even like right out here on the Carlisle Pike, like title boxing, isn't it like $80 a month? I'm like, dude, get out of here.
Oh, honestly, that's
for me to come in 3 days a week and hit the bag. Are you serious? Like, and it wouldn't even be. No, I could probably go 3 days. Yeah, I'd probably go in like Friday, Sunday, and probably like Thursday. Regardless of the point. Paige Van Zant beat Rachel Ostovich. Glover Teixeira beat Carl Robertson. See, like, my thing with Glover Teixeira is we never got to see the best of Glover Teixeira. Because remember when John Jones fought Glover Teixeira for the title? It was like a couple years ago, right before he started getting all... Or no, it might have been like in the midst of all of his cocaine stuff. Well, no, but Glover Teixeira, he had passport issues, so he couldn't come into the country because he's Brazilian.
Okay.
And, like, you know, when he first got to the UFC, he was already 34. You know, we didn't get to see Glover Teixeira in his prime. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one of those things that it's a shame because I heard about how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've listened to Joe Rogan talk about him, and Joe Rogan talks about him like he was God. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things that, you know, once you get to, you know, I don't want to say, because, like, combat sports is so weird, because, like, you look at Deontay Wilder, he's 33, you know, and he's not slowing down as a boxer.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you look at, I don't even know, Anderson Silva, and, you know, his last couple fights weren't the greatest, and he was well into his 30s. So, like, you kind of have to weigh your options there. But, I mean, if it's one of those things where you're old enough and you think you can still fight, I mean, I'm not one to tell you no. Cowboy Cerrone, TKO'd Alexander Hernandez. Big up for Cowboy. Cowboy, like, he's one of those guys that's just fun to watch because you know he's just going to walk in and try to punch your soul out of your body. Joanne Calderwood beat Ariane Lipski. Alonzo Menfield beat Vinicius Morea. And Corey Sandhagen beat Mario Batista. And where's the early prelim fight I want to talk about? Right there. Dennis Bermudez won a decision victory against T. Edwards. Jeff O'Neill beat Belal Muhammad. And Chance Rencontre beat Kyle Stewart. But Dennis Bermudez, he retired directly after his fight. You know, he ends his career with a 17-9 record, bit of a journeyman record. But you know, he dominated the fight. It was one of the you know things I definitely got to hear about on social media. But Bermudez was always a class act fighter. You know what I mean? He's never really anybody's. You know, oh, like, I need to see Dennis Bermudez fight this week. You know what I mean? He was never anybody's, you know, top guy. But it is one of those things to kind of see a fighter go out on their shield, and it's a good thing to see. So, you know, big ups to him.
It's always nice to go out how you want.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's one of those things, too, like, when you retire from any sport, you kind of want to go out on your own terms.
Like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
that was
for
still
sure.
one of the best send-offs I've ever seen.
For sure.
What, 50?
58? Something like that? And Kobe had a monster game.
Yeah, it was a monster game, that's all I remember.
Well, and the thing is, too, is that, you know, I almost say that even that was too late for Kobe. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to flirt with that a little bit as an athlete and when and how you want to go out, you know, and when's the right time, and of course family's involved and everything else, but it is what it is. Yeah, but as an athlete, you always, like I said, you always kind of want to go out the way you want. I mean, for me, like, coming out of high school, even considering playing football again was never really a big option until I came down here and then I realized it was an option, and I'm like, still got some tread left on the tires.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there were so many
avenues
to continue playing football outside of college.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing is, too, is that, you know, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. I mean, and I understand that we play semi-pro, and I understand that we're more, you know, lower end on any spectrum. But, you know, as long as we're still playing, does it really matter?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it really doesn't. For me, it's another day I get to step on a football field.
And hit somebody and prove that bitch I'm better.
100%, absolutely. Well, I mean, and I even got to a point where I even thought about retiring, just because, you know, for me, I mean, travel-wise and everything else that we do in this league, I'm like, is it really worth it? And then I came to a realization. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this forever,
Mm-hmm.
so I might as well be able to do it while at least I can.
Yeah, like my older brother, he'll be 49 this year. He said the one thing he went to Towson, he ran track at Towson.
Mm-hmm.
He said the one thing that I really regret now later in my life is that I never tried to give football another chance after high school because I just didn't feel like actually dealing with it. And now regret's a powerful thing because it just gets stronger as you get older. It doesn't abate.
Mm-hmm.
So I really took that to heart, and even though I messed up my chances of playing at D1 or D2 or just anywhere else in college, at least I'm playing again, and I won't have that little burden on my back.
For sure. I mean, and then how many sports legally allow you to beat the hell out of somebody?
Not many. Not many.
You know what I mean?
And
so,
talk.
yeah,
And
right.
Just talk so much shit.
So, all right. So you're an Eagles fan. You wanted
Yes.
to talk about this, so I think we
Yes.
might as well talk about it. And I think it's a
Okay.
good talking point too. Is what happens to Big Dick Nick?
First off, that's a fucking great name.
I know, right?
It's a fucking great name.
You know, anybody named Nick nowadays, like that, they're just walking around like that's me. Like
Just
anybody named Jake or Jacob is like Jake from State Farm. Like
Yeah.
that's how you're known.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, so just like
That shit
oh
just
my
having
god,
its swang.
just like any ratchet chick born from now on named Keke is gonna have that Drake song played. I just thought about it.
Oh, it's like, do you love me?
Yeah, yo. Drake kind of low key took Keke off the table.
Yo, that's just like when when Straight Outta Compton came out. And
Yeah.
they're just like, bye Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh shit, that was great.
Shout out to O'Shea Jackson Jr. too. He did that just like his pops.
Yep, that was y'all did that movie right. But
Yo. Oh man.
But,
that's wild.
let me see. I know they said 2 of the teams in the running right now for Foles is Jacksonville and Miami. They're saying it's probably gonna be like a 2 to 4 team race, and those are at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I honestly, for me, if I'm Nick Foles and I want to helm my own franchise with the chance of going to the playoffs, I would go to Jacksonville just because that defense is loaded with talent. And honestly, if Blake Bortles
Blake Bortles
wasn't Blake Bortles,
Blake Bortles can only throw a 5-yard dig.
exactly. If Blake Bortles had
No,
just
I mean I've
some
seen him
more-
throw a slant.
Well,
I've seen him throw a slant. I'm lying. I've seen him throw a slant.
I feel like Nick could at least help take Jacksonville back into the playoffs again, and
I think
at
they'd
least
be a
get to
wild
an
card team with
yeah,
Nick Foles.
at least get to AFC Championship.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think they'd be a wild card
Miami.
team.
That's out now. I mean, they have a good shot because I think the Filippo is in Miami now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who was quarterback. That was his quarterback coach when they went all the way in 2017.
You mean DeFilippo is who you're talking about?
The Filippo, what did I say?
You said DeFilippo. It's DeFilippo.
Oh,
I'm just. It's cool.
Alright,
I'm just
alright.
giving you shit.
whatever.
All right. So thought. Do the Eagles franchise tag Foles to trade him, or because here's my thought process, right? If I'm the Eagles, I do everything in my power to leverage Nick Foles. The big thing is we still don't know what the draft has coming yet.
Well, I know.
You know, because with, the only real 2 first-round talent quarterbacks, in my opinion, are Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
We don't know where either of those 2 are going yet. So, if at any point...
Well, I know a real quarterback needy team isn't picking until what, the 5th pick? The 6th pick?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that also depends, too, because you don't know how John Gruden feels about Derek Carr.
True.
Because at any point, Derek Carr cried on a football field, my guy. Like, that was wild.
I missed that.
You missed that? Oh, my
Yeah.
God, yeah, Derek Carr got sacked and actually cried. It was wild. Hold on, I'll see if I can pull up the picture.
Oh!
But, yeah, so, you don't know where Oakland's at. You don't know where Arizona's at, because they might just say...
They have Josh Allen, right?
No, they have Josh Rosen.
I knew it was one of Josh's.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Well, but here's what I'm saying. If you're Arizona, Larry Fitzgerald's old. You got a really young and good defense. Do you really want to subject a rookie quarterback to that, or do you want to bring in the grizzled vet like what they did with Kurt Warner
and Carson Palmer?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing, like, Josh Rosen still has value. Josh Rosen still, you know, Josh Rosen, in my opinion, like, I don't think you'd get a first for him, but I think if you could finagle a second and a third for him, I think that would be worth it.
Well, I know for Nick, what they're thinking about doing right now is,
I think it was against Seattle. Yeah, it was Seattle. Yeah. But again, we don't know how John Gruden feels about Derek Carr. We don't know what's going on in Arizona. Because now that Arizona has Cliff Kingsbury likes mobile quarterbacks that can run. Look at him at Texas Tech with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who's to say he doesn't take Kyler Murray? You know what I mean?
No, I think the only knock against Kyler Murray is he's 5'10".
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only knock about him is his height.
For sure. So my thing is that, you know, there's still uncertainty in Oakland. There's still uncertainty in Arizona. You know, do you franchise tag Nick Foles, wait to see where everybody falls, and then make a trade? Or do you trade him, take a pick, and then maybe that pick does or doesn't pan out?
Well, I know from what I've read so far in the last couple of days, I think they're working more with Nick because he's just done so much for the organization. They're trying to just be as classy towards him as they should.
Sure.
So I think what I've seen so far is they're not going to franchise tag him. He's going to decline the $20 million option, but they're also going to allow him to keep the $2 million that he'd have to pay back if he wanted to decline the option.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I think what they're going to try and do is, I think they can get a first rounder out of him from one.
It'd be a late first, yeah.
Yeah, from one of the teams. But I think they're just going to trade him away and trade him to what they think is the best spot for him to at least compete for a title in the future.
I can see that. I mean, and my thing is too, you know, and you and I have talked about this a fair amount. In my opinion, Carson Wentz is one more knee tear away from being an average quarterback. You know, it's one of those things that if you could give Carson Wentz a set of bionic legs, all pro every year for the next 15 years.
Well, for me, I just feel like he's still a young quarterback. So he's still, I feel like if his knees could stay healthy for the next season, I feel like if his knees could stay healthy for the next season and a half, he'll probably start making a lot less of the kind of hero plays that he was making earlier, because game will continue to slow down for him.
Yeah.
And also, I really feel like they need to get a real proven threat in the backfield.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick. What happens if it turns out to be a Sam Bradford situation? Well, because, and the only reason I'm saying this twofold, right? If it turns out to be a Sam Bradford situation, you guys not only look like idiots, but the LA Rams look like geniuses for taking Jared Goff. You know what I mean?
See, I don't think it's...
Because talent-wise, I don't think the two are close. I think Jared Goff is more of a product of that Sean McVay mad scientist offense.
Yeah.
Just saying. But I think Carson Wentz in Philly is forcing himself, and I think he feels pressured, from whom I have no idea, to make hero plays.
Well,
and to be a hero.
I feel like he's pressured at least now because, I mean, you've had your backup play it, one, win the championship while you were hurt, and then B, come the next year and was one drop pass short of at least getting back to NFC championship.
Yeah, I mean, so when your backup is a Super Bowl MVP, that looms.
Yeah, so even though they've always not been shy of committing to him as a franchise quarterback. It's human nature. You're still going to be looking over your shoulder and be like, all right, I can't make too many mistakes.
Exactly, because there's always somebody, it's next man up mentality.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, for a backup, I think Nate Sudfeld proven that he's going to be a quality backup. So I'm not
necessarily worried.
Yeah, fraught over Foles leaving. Honestly, I just want him to go. As long as he's not anywhere near Jeff Fisher again, he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Oh my God, Jeff Fisher. Yeah, I mean, and my thing is too with Foles. How old is Nick? 28.
I think he just turned 30.
Okay, well,
late
20s, 30s. You know, not only is it A, how much tread does he have left on the tires, but B, you kind of have to get him to a team that is almost ready to win now. You know, if you really, because when you look at teams that need that one piece.
Hell, I mean, I think even the Giants.
Oh yeah, you could easily you could say the other two you could say the two teams in your division. You could say the Redskins because now that Alex Smith's leg
is
infected.
How is he? Is he doing any better?
I've heard he's been doing better, but I mean whether he's not going to play next season.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, nasty. So you're looking at the Giant. You know, the Giants
Hell,
theoretically could be contenders if they had a better quarterback.
Yeah.
The Redskins,
got a strong ass backfield. So.
Yeah, the Redskins, same way. Miami, who knows what's going on in Miami, you know what I mean? But who also knows what's really going on in Jacksonville? Because, you know, there's rumors saying that Jalen Ramsey wants out of Jacksonville.
They're also saying that AB might want to. You said that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, AB might want to go to Jacksonville. So, I mean, if AB goes to Jacksonville, Leonard Fournette's still a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
You get an actual...
You take a couple of those picks, got a couple of O-linemen, give Leonard Fournette some running room, and then you basically turn into the Southern Baltimore Ravens. You have a great defense and a solid running game, and then you makeshift a quarterback situation and call it a day. Well, I mean, you know, and the thing is, too, is, like, the reason I just don't think Nick Foles in Miami is because, like, you saw Adam Gase's press conference, right? Well, you know what's wild, too, is, like, that's not the first time that one of their coaches has had, like, a quote-unquote...
Wait, that's right. That was was that offensive line coach?
Yeah, that was snorting coke on his desk.
Yo.
You think that's, like, a code for them in Miami?
Oh, my God.
Like, right after practice, the coaches all wave to each other, they're like, yo, meeting! And there's just a brick of coke on the table.
It's like, you want some?
Yeah.
We good now. We good.
Yeah, we good. We good. Spider 2 Y banana.
Yep.
But yeah, no. I think they're definitely there's more than what meets the eye in Miami, which, I mean, when you look at Miami top to bottom, I really don't think there's enough talent there to warrant, you know, because even with you put Nick Foles on that team, I think they might pick up a win or two.
They might get to.
That's it.
What, 10-6? Were they 7-9 or 8-8 this year?
I think they were 7-9.
Okay, yeah.
Wouldn't know off the top of my head. Not a Dolphins fan. But no, I know what you're saying though. You know what I mean? Like, you might pick up a game or two.
Yeah.
But like, you put him in Jacksonville. That's a wild card team.
Yeah, right there.
You know what I mean?
Because hell, they got to. I mean, Blake Bortles was like a lot more consistent in 2017, but
yeah,
they were just a blown half away from Super Bowl berth.
Well, I mean. And I'm only saying this more as like a patchwork thing. I mean, Roethlisberger's getting old. We don't know what he's doing. If you guys want to bring,
he's taking a lot of punishment.
Well, not just that, but like looking at Roethlisberger through the last, you know, couple of weeks and stuff, he kind of says shit that just kind of makes you wonder how good of a teammate he really is. You know. I mean, we'll trade you Roethlisberger for Nick Foles, then you're guaranteed a backup, and then you just have to bank on Carson Wentz.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, we'd probably take like a 6th round pick too, because I don't know why, but every trade the Steelers always make always has a pick attached to it, and it might be a 7th, but it's still a pick. Don't ask me why. But then again, like when you look at the Steelers, we're one of the better teams at drafting good players late in the draft. I mean, AB. You know, Emmanuel Sanders, I don't know if you remember him. Well, he plays for the Broncos now. I think he was like a 4th round pick. You know what I mean? Like, we're not, shy about drafting guys late that are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then again, like, you look at, like, so many good receivers in the league. Not all of them were 1st round picks.
No, a lot of them were undrafted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Adam Thielen is the best. Yeah. You know, that dude was and still is a monster. Now I'm thinking about it too. Like, I mean, who's to say that Kirk Cousins isn't out in Minnesota? And who's to say that? I mean, Denver needs a
I
quarterback.
mean, that's a lot of dead money, though.
Yeah. Well,
they
I
were
mean,
to-
Kirk Cousins successfully robbed the Minnesota Vikings of that contract.
Yeah.
Well, but again,
Still don't know
well,
why
same
he
with
did
like
this.
Denver.
What?
Same with Denver.
In Case?
Yeah.
I mean,
Case Keenum has proved that he's only a really, really good backup.
Yeah, and then what? I don't know why you'd give Cousins that contract when he's proven that he can't win big games.
Yeah, I think he's like what 5-18 in Monday night or Sunday night primetime games.
Yeah,
something like that.
Some,
it's like 5-18,
like
5-19. Yeah, like dude is anti-clutch. It's like the Madden skill tree didn't get fully done.
Nope.
But
it's like no wonder Alabama didn't come calling.
Facts. My thing is to, I mean, I kind of feel like we're beating a little bit of a dead horse here, but thinking about it now, Nick Foles in Denver, with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and that good linebacking core and secondary out there.
With the decent offense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the greatest offense ever.
No,
because they don't have Demaryius Thomas anymore. You know, they traded him, but they still have
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, you got Philip Lindsay. You know what I mean? You got young pieces. You know what I mean? Like, it could almost be like that 09 Cardinals team where you have, you know, old man Kurt Warner gimping out onto the field, and you got prime Larry Fitzgerald, prime Anquan Bolden, you know, Steve Breston. You got a lot of good young talented players.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, in today's NFL landscape, all it takes is all it would take to completely flip this paradigm is another Carson Wentz knee injury, and then this whole thing gets blown wide open.
Let's pray it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or at least
no, because I really do like Carson Wentz. He's big, he's athletic, he's got a rocket for an arm. You know what I mean? He's a pretty good decision maker. I mean, I can't.
He makes some questionable decisions, but
what young quarterback doesn't? I mean, how have you seen some of the throws Mahomes has tried to make this year?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Yeah, so is what it is. You got anything else, brother?
Nope. My mind feels like a dead horse right now.
I mean, Chalk Talk episode 2 is coming in about an hour and a half or so. So
yeah,
catch a little R&R and recharge for that. Well, I think that's it, everybody. Like I said, shout out to you guys, the YouTube viewership. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This will probably be up later this evening or tomorrow. So, shout out to you guys. We out.